Welcome to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. I'm James Groves, and along with my business partner, Bill Dement, we want to share our journey as small business owners with you. As owners of Hole in the Wall drywall repair, we will attempt to peel back the curtain of owning a small business in the trade service industry and talk about the many adventures of owning a small business. Hey, Bill.
James, good day to you, sir.
Good day to you, sir.
Not even sure where the title for this or the idea for this podcast came from.
Yeah, it's just neat, though, because it's so pertinent to what's going on.
Very relevant to us.
Yeah.
And we're jumping right in, talking about you went to the training. Now what?
Yeah. How many times have you gone to some sort of networking training or a conference or a breakout session at some sort of conference? Or we just had a big training class here for the past couple of weeks for our new franchise owners. And it scratches your head like you're taking a drink from a fire hydrant. There's so much information out there. How do you retain this? How do you make these into action steps and actually put to use what you're learning?
Well, that's it's a multi-step issue, because I know that the one I recall, we went to an event in Colorado several years ago, and I remember sitting there in the middle of that conference just thinking, this stuff is pure gold.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of notes, and I kept all the papers that they handed out. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, how can I process all of this after the event to make sure that I can not even maximize, but at least extract some value out of it?
Well, you leave there like super inspired. You're ready to make like huge, big changes in your business, in your career, and then life happens.
Yeah. And if I'm honest, I think we've probably all been there, haven't we?
I think everyone has. Yeah.
I mean, you just leave you attend amazing workshop. It's a power pack seminar, networking event full of smart people. We do that all the time. Motivated people. Mm-hmm. And like I did in Colorado, man, you just take pages of notes. You're all inspired. You're ready to go conquer the world. And then life happens. Yeah. Right afterwards.
Well, I think we should talk about kind of what do you do? Let's create a simple strategy to kind of stay on track after this event ends and then the real work begins.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of put our heads together here, and we have some simple strategies, maybe 4 or 5 points here that can really help you to get your arms around how to retain what you've learned from a recent training or maybe a seminar or something that you've been to, because the information that's dispensed there really is valuable. Yeah. And you recognize it as such when you're sitting there absorbing it. This is great stuff. You're making the notes. You know what I'm saying? And so here's a few points that we put our head together that we think will really be useful to someone who's had a recent training or been to a recent seminar, and some really good ideas on how to retain the information.
Listen, a lot of times you spend money to go to these places. Why not get the best out of it?
Absolutely.
So, I got to tell you, I think that you need to kind of strike while the iron's hot, right? Reflect while it's fresh in your mind. Mm-hmm. Right. So, but what does it mean to do that? Right?
Yeah. And that magic, it's right there in the air right after that event. Right. I mean, you're just still tingling, and you don't want to waste it. You want to get the most you can out of it. Mm-hmm. And the suggestion is, before you dive back into everyday, the chaos of everyday life, just give yourself, 10 or 15 minute process and think about what stood out the most. Mm-hmm. Listen, it was interesting when they said it. And it was interesting for a reason. Yeah. So reflecting on that, going, okay,
good reflection.
What really stood out? So now you're kind of teaching yourself a little bit, you're going back over that.
Yep, absolutely. And then think about it. What stood out, and what do you really want to remember like a month from now? Like, what are the things that I don't ever want to forget this? And make a note of what that is. You're kind of thinking through, he really talked about a future growth, blah, blah, blah. Well, make a note of that. Give yourself a little notepad, do it in your notes, set a reminder for yourself. What do you want to do? What's the one thing that you want to remember in 1 month from now so you don't forget it?
Love it. And who do I want to follow up with?
Yeah.
Every time we go to an event, we come back with hands full of cards. And again, it's just one of those things like, how do I follow up with this person?
Yeah.
So that's some of the stuff we're talking about today.
And listen, don't overcomplicate it. Don't create new software for it. We're literally just do whatever is easiest, right? It's a notepad, notebook. You do a voice memo for yourself. Heck, I've even texted myself things so I don't forget them. Just kind of James to James, and don't forget to do things. If you overthink it, it could hinder it. But just dump a brain dump out of your head. Get it on paper. Get it on some sort of platform that you can readjust it.
Yeah, and one quick caution here is not just make notes, but pull out from your notes actionable bits. Okay, something like maybe a new tactic you want to try in your business, maybe a book somebody recommended to you, or a conversation that you had could be worth following up on. Mm-hmm. So you break these down into small, the next steps, and then add them to your calendar or your task list right away, instead of kind of a vague follow up with John.
Yeah.
You need to be specific, like email John on Wednesday to schedule coffee.
Yeah. So like first part was brain dump, just get everything down so you don't lose the momentum or the track. Second phase is turn those notes into actionable tasks. Take those little tidbits of information so you can follow up and email the right people and make sure you're doing all those little next steps, that you truly need to do.
So I think what I might tack on after that, James, would be just follow up fast.
Yeah.
I think time is your enemy on this stuff. If you meet somebody and you want to keep in touch, don't wait a week to reach out. That follow up window really is kind of short.
We've made connections all over the country because of these conferences that we've gone to, right? So we've met people from Colorado. We've met people from Pennsylvania. We meet people all over the place. Those are really good connections to have. Yeah. And they're good people that could turn into confidants down the road, because we've always talked about not doing business in a vacuum.
Correct.
Okay? And let's just say you're at a conference that's just kind of helping you become a better business owner, or training you on a tactic or technique that will help you grow your business.
Yeah.
Not even somebody that could give you work, but just somebody that you've built a connection with. Well, don't forget about those connections. Make sure you're kind of reaching out to them. In the old days, you call pinging. Just kind of just do a little touch. Hey, thanks for the great weekend. We learned a bunch of stuff together. Let's stay in contact with each other.
So important, and get on it quick. 24 to 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And as an example, we kind of jotted down. Keep it casual.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, great meeting you at the whatever event. Enjoyed your chat about whatever. Would you love to stay connected? And if you promise to send them something, a link, an introduction, a tool, do it.
Just do it.
Follow through builds trust, James.
Yeah. And listen, and that could be an email, that could be a phone call, a text, or it could be a connection on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Just reach out to people on LinkedIn. Then you start building your network on LinkedIn, and then you can engage in their posts. Then when you post things or positive things or learning things, they can engage in your posts.
Yeah.
And then now you start sharing each other's posts, and you start kind of
that's
engaging.
what Sean Lydon, our business coach, has been teaching us, isn't it? Mm-hmm. This is how you reach out and touch.
Yeah.
And if you're building a referral network, this follow-up isn't optional.
Yeah.
As we're learning from Sean, it's the beginning of a relationship, not just a recap.
Because you're now bringing people into your orbit, again, that could help you. And frankly, you could help them in their business.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many times people look at us and they think we've got something that they don't have, and then we can help them.
Yes.
And then vice versa. That happens countless times where we are learning about other people, and then we want to learn more, and then we can reach out to them, and they're there for us. And the cool thing is I used to think that people in business were kind of jerks, that they were just kind of selfish and they were just kind of there for very self-gratification only.
Where did you form an opinion like that,
I watch
James?
TV. I don't know. But the opposite is so true. I mean, it literally couldn't be farther from the truth. I find people that are in my exact same industry that want to help me.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like, we're maybe competitors in some markets, but they want to help us. Oh, no, don't do that. Try this idea first. Mm-hmm. Try, here's something that's worked for us. Well, what a great way to kind of engage with your compadres out there. So we're all learning from this. There's enough work for everybody out there.
That's true.
So that kind of social networking is important.
So I guess the next item that we kind of thought was a good idea is to kind of teach what you've learned. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing years ago that the best way to learn something is to have to teach it, because you just get a different kind of understanding about a topic if you have to share it or teach it to somebody else.
hmm It's funny, they say those who don't know teach, but I think it's the opposite. I think
I agree with that.
you literally have to teach somebody. And kind of frankly, as owners or leaders in your business, you're paying the expense to go to these conferences, these meetings, these trainings, but you have potentially a whole staff of people underneath you
Yeah.
that need to learn the exact same thing. I remember years ago, I went to like this big OSHA training class. Right? It was a train the trainer type class. And I took this huge class. It took me days to take this class. And when I got done, I had all this knowledge. But guess what? I had an entire staff of people that needed the exact knowledge that was in my brain. So I had to go and disseminate that and teach it to my staff so they had the exact same knowledge that I had.
Well, some ways you might, what do you think about some ways you might be able to teach it?
Well, first of all, I think that there's going to be a passion and an excitement in your voice. When you come back, man, you won't believe.
Right.
Like, we go to, stinking GOBA events or Chamber of Commerce events, or we go through even local, just small, and we come back inspired.
No, we do.
It's like, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I learned today. And so there's nothing wrong with just doing a highlight reel, like a quick recap, what's going on. Here's a highlight.
Yep.
Hey team, let's get together. I want to share some on my brain, or just, if you have a key play for us, we'll just take Mike Elliott to lunch and he gets all of it.
Doesn't
he gets to,
Poor guy.
keep your mouth shut, your ears open, and just take a drink from this fire hydrant, right?
Another recommended way is to share a quick LinkedIn post with your top 3 takeaways.
Yeah, why not?
I like that idea, actually.
That you're putting it in writing, that helps you, remember what you learned. B, it's giving credibility to the people that you learn from, so you give them a shout out.
Yes.
You give them a little positive reinforcement. And C, you engage your followers and let them know that you're not just sitting there doing stagnant things, you're growing.
You're growing, yeah. And here's something that would be relevant to us: record a short video, which is exactly, what we're doing now, a video or a podcast episode reflecting on your experience. We were having this conversation about, what now after the training. That literally was our question. And now, within 2 weeks, we're doing a podcast on that.
Yeah. And making these action steps, they help give you future growth goals. They help give you future tasks. When you're stuck into the, now what? It's okay. You can go right back to your notes you just took.
Yeah.
You can go right back to the posts and your engagements. You can go listen to a podcast and you can get reignited.
This is something we're engaging in right now. Teaching this, or even just talking about it, forces you to process the information differently. I mean, it can deepen your understanding and reinforces what matters the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see that.
And frankly, I get excited when I talk about things over and over again, whether it's our origin story or whether it's, a process or a task. I mean, we talk about the fact that we have stopped selling and we are now just helping people find the solutions for their problems.
Yeah.
And does our solution align with their need? Their need. And if that's the case, there's really no selling. We're just providing them a solution.
Yes.
But to regurgitate that, to say that over and over again, to kind of get that in our ethos, it really helps you to learn. And that's something we learned in one of our training classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Point number 5, we talked about revisit, revise, reignite. And that's why a lot of people go to these things, isn't it? To reignite a passion for something, or maybe ignite a passion for something new.
Yeah.
But a week later, you can set a reminder to revisit your notes. And then
ask yourself, what did I follow through on? Hold yourself accountable.
Wait a minute now.
No.
You gone.
Let me whisper it. What did you do with that information?
How many times though have you had that secret guilt where you didn't do that?
You're like, oh,
and you're thinking, if I'm being honest, what did I follow through on? But great question.
Yeah. And it gives you a chance to kind of to look through your notes, and maybe you'll catch something you didn't catch on the first time.
That happens to me a lot, actually.
Yeah.
That's interesting because we talk about doing the podcast all the time. And then I don't listen to all the episodes again, but periodically I do. And when I do, it's always a very different experience than when I was in the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I'm working here when I'm in the podcast. But when I'm just listening to it, my brain is in a different mode. And I do hear things I didn't hear the first time through.
Well, and listen, we've all read a passage, whether it's a Bible scripture or whether it's a passage in a book, that we read it and then we get something else out of it.
Yeah.
The second, third time, past it.
I think another question is, what do I still have left to do?
Yep.
You know, how, in revisiting, revising, reigniting, what's left to do?
Yeah. What stone is left unturned?
And has anything changed now that I've had time to think? I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. Do you have any epiphanies? Any thoughts?
Sometimes when you ruminate on things, richer meanings come out, or sometimes you get inspirations for what the next steps or the next ideas are going to be. So that's always a value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's important that we take all these reigniting. I love the word reignite, because occasionally you could go through a seminar, you can go through some sort of event, and you get excited, you get pumped up. But life happens.
Absolutely.
And you just kind of lose a little bit of that mojo.
Yep.
But if you can go through your notes, you can, make sure that you follow through on everything you need to follow through on. It does reignite you. It does give you that excitement again.
Yeah, and sometimes we just need that second wave of motivation in order to take action. That follow-up reflection can help make sure the ideas don't go cold.
Yeah,
you really are getting use out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a short one, Bill, but I think it's important that we kind of go through this, because we all need self-reflection. We all need to kind of remind ourselves, if we're taking our hard-earned time, taking our time away from family and our businesses to go learn something, to go, build a new process or make ourselves better, might as well get the most out of it.
Yeah. I love the headline we have here. The event is the spark. You are the flame. Mm-hmm. Networking events and training events are great, but they're not magic, James. The value isn't in just showing up. It's in what you do after. The follow-up, the reflection, the implementation. That's where the real growth happens.
Yep. Yeah. So next time you leave an event, you feel fired up, remember, the learning isn't over. It's just getting started.
Just gotten started.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. You're just getting to the point. You've sparked it. That seed has been planted inside your brain. Let's water, figure out how we can help that grow you personally, and help that can grow you in your business and help you prosper moving forward.
Short podcast, but a good one.
I think so. I think it is needed. They don't all have to be an hour long. So, and after the past 2 episodes, they were an hour long. Might as well give them a little bit of a break. So I hope you guys got something out of this. It is important. And selfishly, we have a lot of people who've gone through training. We kind of want to remind them to keep that fire, keep that spark alive, keep that flame stoked. There's so much excitement on the horizon for our new franchisees and people out there in business, that you want to keep that motivation. You want to keep that inspiration alive.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, and hopefully this is a reminder to you to not just sit on what you learn, but make it useful, put it into action, and you too can just take what you're learning and ignite it.
Use it for a springboard.
Use it for a springboard.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, good one. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.